Hello and welcome back to my YouTube channel. As you can probably see from my appearance or hear from my voice, for the past few days I have been sick. That's the reason why there were no videos. I couldn't do nothing, I couldn't go to school, couldn't train, but what I could do is play chess. And that's exactly what I did. And I would just like to show you these crazy stats. Oh, you want to be friends? Sure. So, as you can see, if I go to rapid stats, and not 90 days, let's place 7 days. Look at this chart. So, October 2nd, I was at 2153. And since I, again, had nothing to do all day but play chess, I played amazing chess. I crushed my opponent in brilliant ways. And just in one day, I have reached 2039, and over the past few days I have pushed to 2262. So that progress has been insane. Like in last 7 days plus 130 is just crazy. And if we go to bullet, I have pushed in last 7 days some rating, as you can see, 75, and in blitz you will see last 7 days I have pushed a little bit again. But yes, and in this video I would just like to share some of the best games that I have played over the course of past few days. And before we start, just a heads up, if there will be some cuts or something, you know it's because I'm sick. I have to cough and stuff. But let's get into it. Okay, so as an appetizer, we're gonna look at this game where I made 3 brilliant moves and I had a 25-50 ELO performance. Okay, so it started normally with the Sicilian. I developed my knight, he developed his knight, and I went bishop to b5. Okay, I cannot play right now, so we played bishop to b5, knight to d4, and bishop to c4. And now he went e6, and I played knight to e2. And here is a trap that I like to do. After they play knight to f6, I go castles, and after they go d5, I take, they take, and I take with the knight. And when they take, it's a whole trap. I sacrifice the knight, basically. But in this game, my opponent went d5 immediately. So I took, and now if they take, I will be simply up a pawn. And then they went knight to f6. And then I thought, wait, okay, if I castle, it's the same thing. So I did castle, and now when they take, I can still sacrifice the knight, which is a brilliant move. And now when they take, I take in the center, and when they take again, I go queen to h5. I pin them this way, I also double attack the knight, and if the knight moves, it will be checkmate. And now my opponent plays bishop to e6. And it seems like he's defending everything, right? Bishop protects here and here. But now I go rook to e1. And this is a very tricky position. I've got this pin, and now this knight is not defended really anymore, except from the queen. I got this pin, so this bishop is not really defended. So a whole lot of pins, and now my opponent tries knight to f4, attacking the queen and defending here. And usually that's a good move. But in this certain position, I have bishop to b5 check, and now they have to move their king, and I go queen to g4 check. And after f6, I just recapture the knight that I sacrificed, and here I am simply up a pawn, and his king is in the middle. And now he tries to run, but there is no running for him. I go rook takes e6, a brilliant rook sacrifice. And now when they take with the king is just too exposed, and it is all over. I check with the queen. If he can't really go back, because then I go bishop to here, and it is basically checkmate. So they have to go here. And now I mess up. What I should have done is capture here and prepare to go queen to c6 check. But I take this pawn instead. But still, now the king runs away. And the biggest problem is, while the king runs away, I cannot play d3 to bring out my bishop, since the queens are looking at each other. So I give this check with the queen, and now they go queen to b6, king to b6. And I think my opponent got a little bit salty at this point. He was just mad about whole opening, so he wanted to be aggressive with his king rather than being passive. And okay, now I go a4, which is a miss, but it is still a good attacking move, and you will see later why. After they will go a6 and attack my bishop. Now I play a brilliant d3, a pawn brilliant, and I prepare bishop to e3, and they cannot really take, because after bishop to e3 it is basically game over. So they tried rook to c8, and the point is to attack the queen but also protect this square, so they, after I give check, they can block with the bishop. But I don't care, I take the bishop, and after the rook takes I go a5 check. A great move. And when they go back, now I can take the rook, and when they go back again, I'm simply up a bishop and a lot of pawns, and this is very easy to convert. Couple of moves later in this position, my opponent just realized that there is no point in playing on, and I win. And as you can see, at that time I was 2235. So this is a bit newer game per se. Now we are going to go back in time and view the game that I played on the first day that I was sick. Okay, so we have went back a few days in time, and at that time I was rated 2181, and this game doesn't have any brilliant moves, but the attacking in this game is just insane. You have to see this. I started the game with e4, they went d5, a Scandinavian, now I took, they take, and now I went knight to c3. They went back, and I developed the other knight. In the Scandinavian, I don't really know much theory, I just developed my pieces. Now I went d4, they pinned my knight. I went bishop to e3, they went e6. You know, this is all standard, h3, they took, I took. c6 now, and now I go knight to e4. I try to trade a pair of knights. And now I play c3, and as you can see, I'm left with queen and two bishops. And that's basically all I need for the attack. I mean, I will need both of the rooks a bit on later. He went knight to f6, I go back, and now I develop the other bishop, and now I go c4. I expand in the center with ideas of maybe later playing c5, but the main idea in this position is actually to not allow this knight to blockade the center with knight to d5. Now he went check, and here I go king to f1. Now the point of king to f1 is I want to keep my both bishops on the board. If I went bishop to d2, he would, you know, just trade and he would be fine. But I just moved my king out of the way, and I want to attack with my bishops. Now he goes back, and I go g4. I start attacking, and he castles and basically laughs in my face. Laughs at my attack, at my pawn. So I had to teach him a lesson. I go king to g2, and then I push g5. Now the knight goes back, and I have to give credit to this guy. He was defended pretty nice at the start, because fighting in the center while I try to attack on the side is the best way to do it. Now I went bishop to d3. I try to create some sort of attack, and now he has to go g6. And here I go c5 to push this bishop back, and then I bring my rook to the attack. Now this wasn't really all that precise, but after he takes, I take, and as you can see, I have one bishop, other bishop, the queen, and the rook, all basically attacking him. And now I let this g-pawn to be taken, and I go h4, and now when the bishop took here, I actually use that bishop as how do I say, a tempo gainer basically, because now when I play h4 usually he still has time to do something else, but here I attack the bishop, and when the bishop moves back I trade, and when he takes, now I play h5, and I am already knocking on the door, and as you can see everybody is attacking him. And now he takes with the knight, and you can probably already think about what happened. Of course, I sacrificed the rook. And now that is not a brilliant move, since I am still losing after that if my opponent plays well. But okay, he took, and I now took on h7. And my opponent in this position should have gone king to g7, and that is to prevent me from going queen to f5. And you might wonder, how does that prevent me from going queen to f5? It is actually quite difficult to explain, but yeah, he should have gone here. Instead he went here, and now I can go queen to f5, and he goes back and defends on these dark squares, and he actually has a bigger point. It looks very natural to take here and basically set up a mating net. But I can't do that, because now he goes queen to d5 and checks me, and I have to trade the queens. And in this position I would maybe be able to hold a draw, but likely I would lose. They just have a rook against my bishop in the long run, which I would lose. So I see that, and then I play rook to e5. I do this rook lift, and now I guard this square, and later on I will use this rook in the attack if I need to. And now he goes queen to h4 and tries to trade the queens this way. But here again I play a great move, rook to e4 back, and now he goes back, and you might wonder, oh, it's the same position, nothing has changed. But it has. Now my point is, he can, after I take here, he can go queen to d5, but I'm not anymore in check, because a rook is actually in a way of a queen. And now when he goes here, I don't need to trade. I just go bishop to f5 check, he goes here, I give this check, and when he would go here, it would be checkmate. So this is another really good attacking game. I'm really proud of this one, because some of the moves were pretty hard to find. Basically, from this point on, I just played all the best. You can see this was all the best, this was the best, rook here was best, rook here was best, and this whole mating net was also the best. So I'm very proud of that game. But now, for the end, we are going to jump in the future again, and now we are gonna look at the game that I played today, which was amazing, full of brilliant moves. And now for the last game, we are gonna look at this game that I played today, and I scored 99% accuracy. This is by far the best game I have played in probably whole year. Maybe not all-time best, but definitely one of the best. As you can see, I had two brilliant moves, and they were both pawn brilliance. And if we go down, this is the best thing for me. We had 3000 elo performance and both brilliant opening and the middle game. So this was a crazy game. Let's check it out. I went for e4, he went e6. French defense, now I take the center, he attacks, and I go knight to c3. And now I basically wait for him to decide, will he play this, bishop b4, or will he take? One of the main lines, right? He went bishop b4, so now I take in the center, and I always put bishop on d3. This is the line I play. And now he can play knight to c6, knight to f6, this even. But here my opponent went c5. And as you can see, that's already in inaccuracy. And Here I have actually, if you see, I have taken, but I have thought for over a minute and a half, because I have remembered that I have this in my notes actually. I'm not gonna pull it up right now because it is on leeches, but in my opening notes I have this as a line which is not good. And what I have written there is that I take, and when they push, then I go a3. I know that. And that is a brilliant move because it is an only move that saves the game. The point is, if they take like this, I will take the bishop, and you know, if they take like this, I basically have this pawn clamp. My bishop is very active, my rook is active, and this is a great position to have. And if they drop back, still maintaining this pin, then I would go b4, and when they take the knight, I take the bishop. Now this looks a bit messy, but with the two bishops and this a lot of pawns, you know, I can go a6 just to mess up his pawn structure and stuff like that. So I would be fine. But instead, my opponent here went queen to a5, and as you can see, that is a pretty bad move. And here again, I have studied what if they take and what if they go back. So here I have again spent like a minute and a half, maybe more, trying to think why is this not good. And I have actually realized that here I can play another brilliant move. Pawn takes b4, and I don't even care about this rook. He can take it, but I'm completely winning. So actually against the French we get one pawn brilliant and then another one. So that's crazy good. And now when they take the rook, what I have realized is I can go knight to d5, and I threaten knight to c7, and this is so hard to stop. As you can see, if they go knight to a6 as in the game, I just take that knight, and when they recapture, I go knight to c7 anyways. And you might think, oh well, that's easy. You just go king to d8. But that would be an even bigger blunder. Now I go bishop to g5 check, and when they cover, I take the queen. So that would be even worse. And my opponent tried this and let me take his rook. And he had a point, because now he goes bishop to b7. He attacks my knight, and he also takes this g2 pawn. So if I save my knight, he will take here, and he will take my rook. So that would be a bit risky. And here I decide to move knight to f3 and let my knight be taken. And when they take, I just castled. And you might wonder, oh, okay, I mean, you did sacrifice a rook and gain it back, but you lose your knight and you are only +1. Why is this so good? Actually, in this position, his queen is really bad, his king is really bad, and as you will see in a few moves, this position is just crushing. He plays the best move, or wait, here it says it is the best move. Okay, basically he plays one of the best moves, he gets his queen into the game, but now I just take in the middle. I have this pawn clamp, and a bigger issue for him, and threatening to, well, not immediately checkmate him, but something really bad. So he tries to develop with knight to f6, and here I again take some, let's see, a 1 minute and a half basically, because I wanted to be precise and I didn't want to give him any chances. Now I go bishop to g5, and the point is, this knight is basically what defends the black's position, because had I gone something like queen to here, he can defend with the queen. And now, as you can see, okay, the best move would be a rook to here, but if I like check, they can hide here, and even though this is a better position for white, still, I mean, I have allowed him to survive few more moves, but with this I immediately put pressure on him. And here he just blundered. He tried to go knight to e4, but I immediately pre-moved checkmate. I go queen to d8 check, and when he covers, I go bishop to e7 check. And now he cannot take like this because queen protects it, and he cannot take like this because he's pinned. He has to go back, and this would be Checkmate. So as I said, this would be one of the greatest games that I played. It really is. But that is about it for this video. Um, I guess I needed to make this video to explain what happened with the rating change. Currently I am at 2262 rapid, which is just insane progress. So now you know why when you will watch the next road to 2500. But that is it for this video. As I said, if you've come this far, please drop a like. It really helps with the YouTube algorithm. It pushes this video to more people. And if you want to see more content, subscribe. But that is it. Thank you for watching and goodbye.